Welcome back to the channel, guys. O-Gauge CNR. Today I'm going to be assembling an F117A stealth fighter bomber by Monogram. This kit comes with photo etched metal parts and is a skill level 3. So let's get at it. So I've already went ahead and opened the kit, and I've added some paint to areas that I might just have runs. I'm new to the model scene, so I know some of you guys would probably do this by airbrush, but I haven't airbrushed enough yet. So in terms of detail in the kit, I do find it comes with a fairly good level of high pressure molded details inside of each chamber, but I was really not impressed with the panel lining of the plane itself. I'm hoping to airbrush this kit unlike the last one I did and hopefully get some good results on my paint finish. I'm going for a very sun-faded look, so I'm going to be painting a white underlay for my black. So what I'll be using is toothpicks to apply the glue, a small set of everyday tweezers, and some all-purpose super glue by Gorilla. I know some of you would say I need to use a special glue to make a model. Unfortunately, that's just not really available where I live. Before we begin too, I just wanted you guys to see how faint the instruction manual is compared to other manuals. I've had far more detailed and I've had far less detailed out of the 3 kits I've done, so let's just be thankful it's a little better than the first one. One thing I really like about the kit is how all the windscreens are pre-tinted yellow. It's going to make for a unique look. That's going to be a pretty easy canopy to tape off too. Oops. So the first 3 pieces we need are the cockpit itself, the pilot's seat, and the joystick. What I like to do is use a toothpick and just get a small dab on there. Sometimes you're not sure if you even get any on there. So just touch the areas where these will go. Put your applicator stick back in a safe hold. Like I said, I got some pre-paint on these. Now it's not perfect. I just put it on those tough to get areas to help me out later. And this is where the tweezers will come in handy already early on. Raise that up so you guys can see. So after we get that in, our next instruction is to put this in the forward position like such. Test fit everything, make sure it fits nice. pull that back out. See the channel it sits on. Get our applicator stick nice and wet again. Just get that up close there so you guys can see. Just want to get it where the cockpit's going to rest on. I'm using super glue, so once that sits, just clamp it with your hands there for a few seconds. Ooh, whoops. Maybe we'll just use gravity. So the next piece we're going to assemble is the FJIR and the FJIR window. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there are little grooves on this, little slots on the FJIR window. So we're going to get a very, very tiny amount of our glue. And very carefully place this in place since it is a window. And I have not had very much luck with windows so far making them look good. Maybe that's something I should have done with tweezers. Oh, and that's why I don't have good luck, because I always touch them. There. Now I know it's in perfectly. So next we're going to install our FJIR window right here. So take a little dab of glue, just get it on both sides. You want to try to avoid getting as much as you can on the window itself, or it will smear the look. I don't have the right pair of tweezers for this. Get it in your tweezers and place it. Keep in mind, anywhere you pre-install a window, we're gonna have to tape up, and that can be taking some time should you not have the right tool. Next, we need to install this small little light and this other window. So once again, we're just gonna place a little next to it. To avoid getting glue on our fingers, we'll take the pair of tweezers. Same for the other hole. Just a small amount of glue, enough to hold it. I'll never be able to get my tweezers around that, so let's just try to drop it in. You can see where I put a base level of acrylic paint on the inside of this. It's not fully detailed to the level I want, but it's a good start. So this is the front landing gear housing. So because the lower part of the front landing gear housing will be covered by a glass pane, I decided to add some color to it. I'll show you what I mean here in a sec. I just ripped that off. But just some small detail in there. So there's a small hook at the front and the back. So you just get a little glue. You put a little glue on each one. Put your stick up in its holster. And then you snap those into place. So now when you turn it over, that's what you see. So then we grab our exhaust housing. There's a little hook there at the front. Get a little bit of glue on it. And voila. Should just slide into place. So now we need to install our tip lights and our wings. Unfortunately, I haven't done this long enough to realize I was going to lose parts, and everything that's very small should stay inside of this box. But yeah, so we have 3 of the 4 tip lights that we need. So you're going to want to put your wings down like this. Clear anything else that might get glue out of the way. Make sure your stick is not saturated. Apply a little glue on both locations for the tip lights. After you get this, align it with the hole. There's one. Now I'm going to break this off of the back. I'm not sure if that's a piece of injection mold or if that is another light I have to apply somewhere. So identify which way it goes, place it in. Now we got to do the same for the other side. Now we have one wing together. Now we have to assemble our wings. I've already gone ahead and assembled one. Now I'll get the second one done. Now I got both wings assembled. Moving on to step 13 of about 28. Time to assemble the flaps. Pretty straightforward. Coat some glue on all sides. And put a little bit of pressure. And away we go. If you guys notice anything that I could be doing better, please feel free to comment that. I'd really appreciate that. Can't get better if you don't know. Any glue I get on the pieces I will rub off later with a bit of the alcohol. There. Now when that dries, I can correct anything that is held apart. Oh, shoot. That's what happens when you don't pre-check the fit. Now, these should fit in here. Just like that. I don't think they're designed to be placed any which way you want. Now we're going to attach our flaps. After investigating it, I see the best way to do so just by putting some glue right here along this edge. Any old spot will do. And just plop it in there. Maybe put it somewhere where it would have some vertical pressure. And we're going to do the same thing with the other one. Check it over first, make sure there's no spots that could use a little pressure. And then we're just going to put some glue on the same side, same spot. It's way too much glue. Now we have to mount our wings to our body. Our wheels housings are mounted on our wings already. There are holes to guide these. Figure out how it goes again. I believe it goes like this. Check our fit. I'm happy with it. So, now that we know where we're going, we can start applying a generous amount of glue. This is going to be what holds our wings on, so you don't want to be sparing with it. So once we get that hole aligned, there we are. So we're just going to want to put some pressure. Same thing for the other side. We're just going to want to apply a whole lot of glue in the central area and really help that plane wing adhere. guess that part didn't stay. That's okay, we can fix that later. It's not really out of the way. So line up that pilot hole. And then just apply pressure until shut. Now we should have a good size of the F117 stealth fighter in place. I'd recommend testing the top part of the airplane fits, which I did. Make sure you got no burrs stopping it being a flush finish. So now I would apply some glue to this and seal on. I like to apply the glue attaching the top part of the hull to the bottom part in separate pieces. So I start from the front and I just add enough and let it set till it holds in place and keep pressuring it into place. You want to make sure all your edges line up nice and uniform or it affects the overall finish of the airplane. Now time to assemble the remaining fins. I'm not sure what that's for. I believe we're just supposed to break that off. This is a connecting pin to attach them to the plane. I haven't quite figured out how to put that in yet, but these pieces obviously go together. Once again, break that piece of plastic off, identify which side is which. Get some glue on there. That should be enough. If it's not, it'll fall apart and we'll just have to do it again. And that's okay, because we're a beginner. There. So we got those two done. Now for the last two. So, same thing with these. See the little hole there? We have to make that perfectly aligned. Well, that dried instantly, eh? Nope. So once you have these two pieces assembled, they simply go together by snapping together like such. So now I got the plane mostly together. I have to add the 2 fins in the back over here. I got a clothespin on to temporarily hold it tightly in place. And then I have to remove all my access glue by filing it off. Now I'll just hold that momentarily while the super glue dries. Sometimes it helps to blow on it a little bit. And voila. We now have 1 of 2 tail fins attached. I already see a piece we're gonna have to fix. That's okay, we're just assembling. Got both of the rear fins on. Plane is probably 70% assembled now. I have a lot of photo metal etched parts I have to add, and the landing gear and the cockpit. Then I have to finally paint everything, put a matte clear on it. Stay tuned, I'll show you. The wheels are constructed out of 4 parts. You got your 2 wheel halves and your strut. There is a 4th part of a small indicator light that I will add in the final steps. As of right now, I think it would just create too much difficulty having to tape. Once you have a front landing strut together, it should look like this. I have applied just a little bit of paint for a good base coat before I paint on fine detail. They go together rather simply. Make sure you have identified the difference between your 2 wheels. Whereas one has spokes, one doesn't. I put the non-spoked one down. Really make sure you get it in there good. Then I grab a little bit of glue. And just assemble. Finally, we have our nose piece to add. It's always good to make sure you get a good test fit of it. Make sure you know how it goes. Finally, we have our nose piece left to add. Always make sure you get a little test fit, know how it goes. So I think our best course of action is to add glue onto right about here. Just spread that around. I may have put that way too high. And I did. But we can hide that kind of. Oh yeah, that's fine. And voila. So I got the windscreen taped up. This was done by applying masking tape over the entire canopy and then knifing or cutting. So I got the canopy all taped up. Rather easy process on this aircraft. There's a couple of little lights that have to be taped off that had to be installed before I assembled the rest of the plane. We're almost ready for paint. Time to start installing some metal etched parts. So I now got the small photo metal etched parts seen here installed. I accidentally ruined one. It's unfortunate. I didn't do the best job placing this one. So we'll just adjust it while it's fresh. And that's better. They're very tiny. Now you can see the photo metal etched parts I have added. Some of them got to be worked down a little bit, just waiting for the glue to dry. So this one wasn't dry. Now I have 8 pieces to add to the top. Show you how a few of those look in a second. I now have the photo metal etched parts on the side. So I have most of the photo etched parts in. Unfortunately, I dropped one of these on the shop floor and it's quite dirty from working on the trestle bridge behind me. So we're gonna lose the look of that, but I'm all right with that. So let's go tape it up for paint. Now for painting, I'm using a cheap old can I got for $1.99. It says white. Just tested it, it's kind of gray, but that's okay. I'd like for my airplane to have a kind of weathered look to it, and this is a tutorial video I seen of an idea like this, so I'm giving it a try.